Good morning, guys. I am starting off my day reading my book, and I've been doing this about 3-4 times a week to start my routine of making sure I am getting some reading in because I really enjoy reading books and love doing it in the morning to start my day off right. I feel like it always helps have my mind clear, or at least focus on the topic that I'm reading and really reflect and use that information throughout the day. But I want to share a part of the book from Lynchpin by Seth Godin. There's a part that I really liked reading. It's called The Resistance, Your Lizard Brain. The lizard brain is hungry, scared, angry, and horny. The lizard brain only wants to eat and be safe. The lizard brain will fight to death if it has to, but it would rather run away. It's like a vendetta and has no trouble getting angry. The lizard brain cares what everyone else thinks because status in the tribe is essential to its survival. A squirrel runs around looking for nuts, hiding from foxes, listening for predators, and watching for other squirrels. The squirrel does this because that's all it can do. All the squirrel has is a lizard brain. The only correct answer to why did the chicken cross the road is because its lizard brain told it to. Wild animals are wild because the only brain they possess is a lizard brain. The lizard brain is not merely a concept, it's real, and it's living on the top of your spine fighting for your survival. But of course, survival and success are not the same thing. The lizard brain is the reason you're afraid, the reason you don't do all the art you can, the reason you don't ship when you can. The lizard brain is the source of the resistance.
Ed Mylett Show.
Welcome to the Ed Mylett Show. I am so fired up to have this dude right here with me. I've got the great Andy Frisella here with me today. Thanks for being here, brother.
Okay, guys, so that's my morning routine. I'm about to go to the grocery store and get some groceries because we have absolutely nothing. So I will bring you along with me and just show you some things that I buy literally every week. You don't have to go crazy with the grocery store trip or feel lost. You just have to buy the right foods and just avoid the things that, you crave or that you want to get, because if you buy the foods that you shouldn't be eating, you're going to eat it if it's in your pantry. It's too easy and too accessible. So I ended up eating a bagel, cream cheese, and had a protein shake. That way I don't go to the grocery store hungry, because that is the biggest mistake, is if you're going to the store starving, you're going to buy a lot of things that you should not be buying, and you're going to go home and be like, I just blacked out, bought all these things. Not exactly, but you get the point. So I will see you at the grocery store. So totally forgot that today is Martin Luther King Day and the grocery store is packed. So I was just like, I got in, I was like, I have to get the hell out of here. So did a quick shop, but I'm gonna show you some things that I bought, and I'm actually gonna do some meal prep now. I know I was gonna try and get to the gym a little earlier before work, but I'm gonna meal prep because I have no meals prepped at all, and I know that if I don't prep anything, I'm just gonna be piecing together weird things, and I'd rather not. So I'm gonna show you some of the meals I'm gonna prep. And also, I started thinking about it when I was watching them scan everything and the price, and I'm like, these meals are actually like really cheap based off of like what each item costs, and then when you add that up and divide it by the meals, it's really cheap. So I'm gonna explain to you how cheap and easy it is to do meal prep. Some people think that they can't do meal prep or even buy the foods because it's too expensive, and if you listen to my last video of my rant, I talk about it's just a choice, and crappy food is just really crappy, and that's why it looks cheap. It makes food that's actually like healthy and normal priced, makes it look like it's expensive. It's not. So I'm gonna show you some foods that I got, and then show you some recipes and quick easy meal prep. Okay guys, I don't even think you know or really understand how easy this is. So I buy green beans in the bag, and all you have to do is microwave it for like 3 minutes. Puncture a hole in the back, microwave it for 3 minutes. It's so easy. And I also buy the already like cooked rotisserie turkey or chicken. So this had a $2 off coupon, so it's only like $7.99, which is like badass. And then all I'm gonna do for this meal is cut potatoes up and throw it in the skillet. So I'm gonna show you an easy recipe that I really enjoy and it tastes so delicious. Okay, so I've already heated up my pan and I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. So coconut oil can be used at a higher heat versus olive oil, but I just like it too for sweet potatoes because it sweetens up the potatoes and makes it really good once it's like stirred up and stuff. But you want to add enough to coat all the potatoes. So I know this knife is like absolutely ridiculous, but my small one of this is getting washed. But this type of knife really cuts potatoes very easy. So you want to chop them in like really small cubes because the smaller that it's chopped, the quicker it'll cook and you don't have to be hovering over your stove for like a really long time. So I'm gonna chop these up in really small pieces and then they will go into the pan. And it looks like the oil is like already melted, so it should be ready in a minute anyway. I'm going to throw the potatoes in the skillet, and as you can see, they're like really small, fine pieces. So you want to not burn yourself. So once you throw them in the skillet, coat the potatoes with the oil. And now that they are coated, I'm going to add very simple seasoning, a little bit of ground pepper. Just do like however much you like. Seasonings are not a lot of calories, so it's not a big deal. Garlic powder, just a little bit of this. And I like using Himalayan pink sea salt. So I'm going to add salt, maybe the lid's on there. There we go. And the one game changer for sweet potatoes is fresh basil. So you can buy these in like the produce departments, but it's just like organic fresh basil. Just bought this earlier and it smells really good, and I just do like a pinch and add it to the sweet potatoes. Smells so good. So make sure you're cutting them up small and trying to keep them flat on the skillet so that they can cook through faster. And then also really know to measure your oils, because 1 tablespoon of coconut oil is 14 grams of fat. So if you're just dumping and not measuring, you could easily add up, of course this is getting divided up in 4 meals, but this can easily add up to 20 grams of fat a meal. So I put 2 tablespoons. And I actually did a little less than the tablespoons because once it melted, it ended up being right at 1 tablespoon. So I put 2 tablespoons. It's going to be divided up in 4 meals, so that makes each meal 7 grams of fat. But while the potatoes are going, I'm going to put the green beans in the microwave, and I just do whatever tenderness I like, which is about 3 minutes. And that'll be done. While everything else is cooking, I'm going to start separating the turkey in the containers. I actually need to grab one more because I'm going to be eating one of these meals after it's cooked. There should be enough to do at least 3 ounces of each meal. If not, I will add another ounce. So I don't usually use a lot of skin because skin does add more fat, but I will put a little bit because it does help with flavor of meal prep. So this is ready. Let's see. I like to just cut them up or like shred it up in like little pieces because it's easier to reheat. So that's 3 1/8. I'm gonna do 3 1/2. There we go, perfect. 3 1/2. Next one, and always make sure it's timed back out to 0. to do 4 ounces of each. So I'm going to add another half. So these potatoes are looking good. They are starting to brown, which is exactly what I like. I like making them like a little extra crispy. And there's still enough oil. Sweet. That's almost done. I'm going to let that keep going. I'm going to grab the green beans, which is really hot. Green beans, they're not a lot of carbs, but you are getting a lot of micronutrients, so I just bust open the bag, add salt and pepper. Well, actually I just added salt and garlic powder. So I'm literally just going to grab it and throw it in the containers because it's like rough estimates. It's not a big deal. Let's see. This one looks like it has a little less. And bam, green beans done. And it's really hot, so I'm gonna put it over here, but I'm going to see how much this is going to be if I were to like rough estimate, measure it out. But I'm going to try and do 75 grams in each meal. So let's zero this out. And know that if you weigh potatoes before cooking them, they're gonna be a lot heavier because once you cook it, it will dehydrate and lose some of its starches and stuff like that. So always weigh after, don't weigh before because it won't be accurate. Let's see if I can get away with. So there's 82 grams, close enough. I'm gonna do 80 and then take it from there. With doing another 10 grams each. So we're gonna do 100 grams per meal. I'm gonna zero that back out and just add 20 more grams. And some of them are like 2 over, so 2 over, 2 under, it's close to 100. That's 110 grams, so I'll count that because I'm a little bit behind on my meals today. I'm gonna add a few potatoes of each. So that's about 110 grams per meal. So without counting recording, that meal only took me about 10-15 minutes. So if you consider prep time, depending on how long prep time takes, it's gonna be about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on how long it takes you to like measure each meal out, cutting the potatoes, cooking the potatoes, all that stuff. So that's 4 meals, so easy. And I'm gonna show you another easy meal that I do too. It's gonna blow your mind. I bet you're thinking that meal prep takes forever, and literally just those 4 meals took only 20 minutes. And sometimes I'll do several meals at one time, so I've kind of gotten some of my meal prep like routines down, so I'm good at multitasking. But whenever I start doing things that are like a little different, it takes me a little longer, and I'd rather focus on each meal so that I don't like burn everything, because I've done that before and like literally ruined everything. So you can do several meals at one time and get 8 done at the same time, 10 meals. If your portions are different, that meal can, or that type of meal prep can make 6 or even 7 meals. So just make it to where it works out for you, and you don't have to copy exactly what I do, but it's just to show you how easy that meal prep can really be. So the second meal prep I'm doing is with beef flank steak. You can do this with other meat, but this is by far the best. And this is almost a pound, and it's only $6.79, so it's not that bad. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of butter in the pan along with some minced garlic. This is going to help with flavoring the meat a lot. And then I'll also put sea salt and pepper, and that's pretty much it for the meat. And then I'm going to cook 4 servings of brown rice, and then this is all going to get sauteed for the mix with the flank steak. on here. They can cook evenly. The veggies are ready. I'm gonna do the bell peppers first because that's gonna take longer to saute. And then I'll add the mushrooms in a little bit. I usually just test this based off of how it's looking, but it'll be about 2-3 minutes before I put the mushrooms in. Alright, like I said, I'm no chef. It took me a little longer because I put, they're like pretty big slices. So I'm going to add the mushrooms in now. And these are actually big chunks too. I'm going to cut them up real quick. Alright, much better. I'm not really a huge fan of mushrooms, so if I do eat them, they have to be kind of small. And these will shrivel up once they get cooked through a little bit too. So I'm going to get this going for a couple minutes. And then this will be done. And then what I'm going to do next is put the brown rice in here. Like I'm going to first take all this out, put it on a plate. And then I'm going to put the brown rice in the skillet and just kind of make like a stir fry, just kind of like, I don't know, like brown it a little bit. So I'll do that next. Alright, veggies are done. Got the rice in the skillet and everything is smelling really good. I'm only going to do this for just like 2 to 3 minutes. It's going to get some of that water out of it and make it more like a stir fry rice. Rice I'm just going to evenly distribute between all 4 containers. And I know it's like a rough estimate, but it's easier to eyeball than just have to like measure out the rice. I just do the rice first. And then I measure each container and just get an idea to see how close I am for each. So let me zero the scale out. So there's 105 grams, 100 grams, 100 grams. That's actually like really close. That was like just luck. 113. So I'm going to add just like a little bit here. A little bit there, and now the rice is even in all meals. Makes it a lot easier than having to like spoon it in and out because you don't really know what you have. Next, I'm going to add the veggies. So veggies aren't a lot of calories, and that like each serving is probably going to be like 1 carb. So I'm literally just going to grab some veggies and throw them in each meal. I get some bell peppers over here. Throw some more mushrooms over here. And honestly, like I'm the only one eating it, so I don't care if my hands are in my food. So now I'm going to measure the meat. Same thing, but I'm going to measure the meat first because this is like almost 1 pound, but I'm not quite sure how it's going to weigh out. So my goal is to get 3 to 3.5 ounces in each container. So let's measure this out. So it took me a minute, but I went back, remeasured all the meat, and it is, so each container has 100 grams of rice, give or take a few grams, veggies, and then 2 to 2 1/4 serving of, or 2 1/4 ounce of meat. So that is my chicken fajita bowl. And I also have one more thing to throw on top. 1 ounce of New York sharp cheddar. If you've ever had this cheese, you know what I'm talking about. This is so amazing. But if you haven't, it's like a creamy white cheese. And it's going to pair perfect with the steak meat. So I'm going to shred up 1 ounce and then place it on top of the entire bowl. So once it's reheated, you can just mix it all up together and it's super easy. Okay, I lied. So I started shredding the cheese and it was 1/2 ounce. And you seriously get like that much cheese. So I was like, if I do 1 whole ounce, it's gonna overpower the rest of the meal. So 1/2 ounce of the cheese and that 7 grams of fat versus 14 grams. So a little bit more managing your fat intake. And this looks amazing. I probably will eat one of these for dinner tonight. So that's easy meals. Literally got 8 meals just like that. It's only $1.20, and so that just those meals took only 1 hour, and that's 3 to 4 days worth of meals. So I wanted to share with you, I just calculated based off of my receipt. So this is to prove to you guys that meal prep really isn't that expensive. And sometimes I feel like I'm spending a lot more on meal prep, but I'm not. I just calculated this based off of what I bought. The brown rice that I had, I've already have a pantry, but brown rice is really cheap. It's like less than $2 for, I think it's like 7 servings or something like that in a container. But even though I didn't use all of the bell peppers, all the mushrooms, all that, those things, you still have to buy it. So I still calculated it. But that steak dinner literally cost only $3.16 a meal. That's so cheap. And then the turkey one only cost $3 a meal. So I was thinking about how much I spend. And I love Icon meals, but I spend about $7 a meal on Icon meals, and then I get delivery. So that's like another $12. And so meal prep is actually really cheap, and you can't even go to fast food places that cheap. Even if you get something like Chick-fil-A, like an 8-count nugget and a salad, like it still comes out to like $10. So meal prep does not cost that much. It's just spending a little bit of time investing in that. And sometimes time is money, I get that. But if you have the time to save money and also meal prep, those meals only took an hour. And just cutting corners by buying pre-made or pre-cooked meat, and also vegetables that you can just microwave, rice and potatoes, all those things are like so easy to do. So I just want to prove to you guys that it's actually inexpensive, and eating healthy can be really tasty. You just gotta season it and cook the way you like to cook with it. So those meals are only 8 meals, but if I were to divide that up in 4 days, I still have 4 other meals to eat. So I have my post-workout shake that I count as a meal, usually a nightly protein shake or Greek yogurt. And then I have 2 other snacks and my breakfast. So I'm eating 5-6 meals, sometimes 7 if I'm counting like a pre-workout snack. But I make sure that I'm hitting my numbers, hitting my calories, hitting my macros. So pre-making meals makes it easier. You just automatically log those foods, and then you can log the rest of your calories and macros around the pre-made meals. So it's just super easy. Every night you can just log your food and make sure you're planning the next day on track and staying the course, because if you don't have meals prepped, you're most likely gonna go out to eat, you're gonna spend more money, or you're gonna do the things that you know you shouldn't by eating the wrong foods, or even not even eating at all. I have some other meal ideas. I'll make another video because I don't have time to film that today. But also, I don't really make a ton of meals at once. I like to just do like what I made, and then as I run low, then I start prepping again based off of the foods I have. So I have like 6 different meats in my freezer. I always try and keep meat on hand, and then easy sources to put with that, like rice, potatoes, macaroni and cheese, even like just whatever could fit my macros for the day, I make it work. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you try any of these recipes or like any of it, let me know. Comment below. Also subscribe and like this video so you can keep updated with more workout videos, more nutrition. I'll see you guys on the next one. So have an awesome day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.